This week we're at the busiest airport in this country, Pearson International in Toronto. Now it could be said that airports are strictly for planes and not vehicles, and you'd be partly correct. I mean, it's the planes that dominate the scene, it's the planes that carry the passengers. But as we're about to see, the busiest spot in any airport may not be in the air, but rather here on the ground.
Here at the airport, there's two basic areas that we need to know about. There's a maneuvering area, which is your runways and taxiways, and there's a movement area, and that is the different areas that we're allowed to drive out here in a tractor, in a truck. Airplanes don't have turn signals or backup lights, obviously, so we always have to make sure that we're aware of the situation and where we're driving. We are in the inner corridor, or the main corridor, and the speed limit in here again is 40 kilometers an hour. If for any reason I was to go outside of this vehicle corridor, I would be looking at 25 kilometers an hour. If I was to go into an area where there was a heavy workload going on, or in an area of the aircraft, my speed limit drops to 10 kilometers an hour. During our peak hours, you could have 6 to 8 aircrafts that are pushing back from a gate at one time. At that gate, you could have 2 to 3 vehicles that are setting the pace to get that aircraft off the gate, moving containers, moving dollies, moving baggage carts. You also have buses that are running people between terminals, your GTA security officers, police officers, emergency vehicles that could be responding to an emergency, maintenance vehicles such as in a snowstorm, your snow removal. I mean, it's endless, the amount of vehicles that are out here. As you've been shooting me and I've been driving around the ramp here, I think that you've seen my head is on a swivel. This isn't like a casual drive or a Sunday drive in the country. These drivers every 3 years have to go through an AVOP session, which is an airside vehicle operator's permit. When you're initially hired by the airlines, you write a test that pertains to all the rules and regulations that are out here on the ramp, plus you have to do a map of structures and locations that are located out here. We want to make sure that our drivers know at all times where their bearings are, where north, south, east, and west are, because that's how our runways run, on compass headings. What I have behind me here is a consolidated fuel truck, and he's parked in a safe area. The white line that's on the ground here is called an apron safety line. And that apron safety line tells us that we can leave vehicles or equipment unattended in that area, and it won't come into hazard of docking of an aircraft, okay? The red line that's on the outside of the white line is an equipment restraint line. If we were to leave some of our equipment or an unparked vehicle in that red area, it could come into a possible hindering with the docking of an aircraft. The aircrafts have their own roadway. Anytime we see a yellow line on the ramp or on the gate, such as our lead-in line, that's the aircraft's roadway. That provides guidance to the aircraft or to the pilots to either come onto a gate or actually get out to the taxiways and runways.
From the cockpit, we've got good visibility, but both of us are always looking out on the outside of the aircraft, making sure that the ground traffic is supposed to be where they're supposed to be. I know it sounds a little bit doublespeak, but at the same time, they know what they're doing as well too, but you always have to anticipate the unexpected.
The aircraft are number one. They get the right of way no matter where they're going. That's you have to be alert for them at all time. We do not pass aircraft at any point unless they are sitting on a gate, and a marshaller who is responsible for bringing that aircraft in or out of the gate lets you go, and they will wave you by. That's the only time that you're allowed to cross in front of an aircraft. What we want here is these roadways and these rules are designed for on-time performance of our aircraft. That's the most important thing. Making sure that we get our aircrafts out on time, keeping the ways clear for our aircraft so that they stay on time for the safety of the employees and for the satisfaction of our passengers.
Is it good to get back up in the air?
Oh yes, all the time. Happiness is when you get away from the gate.